Hey there, and welcome! Today, we're going to dive into some of those really common and, let's be honest, kind of puzzling childhood challenges. We're going to uncover the body's own secret messaging system and figure out how you can help your child learn to speak its language. So, let's get into it.
Okay, let me start by asking a few questions. Does this sound at all familiar? That sudden, I have to go now, followed by the frantic dash to the bathroom, maybe with a few little accidents along the way because they waited just a second too long?
Or, maybe this is more your reality. You make a perfectly good meal, put it on the table, and they're just not hungry. But then for the rest of the day, it's a constant stream of snack requests, like they never quite feel properly hungry or properly full.
And oh, this one. The meltdown that seems to just erupt out of thin air. 1 minute, everything's totally fine, and the next, it's a full-blown emotional storm, leaving you standing there thinking, what on earth just happened? If you're sitting there nodding your head, first please know you are so not alone. And here's the real takeaway, the big idea. These things, they're not just random behaviors. They aren't acts of defiance. They are signals. They're clues from your child's body, and we can actually learn to decode them together.
So here's our game plan. We've just touched on some familiar scenarios. Next, we're going to define a really key idea called interoception. Then we'll connect the dots between the body and behavior, get into some practical ways you can build awareness, and finally, talk about how to start a totally new kind of conversation with your child.
All right, let's jump right into the heart of it. What in the world is interoception? Well, it's our key to understanding what's going on inside our kids. So the official, fancy definition is the sensing, interpretation, and integration of signals from inside the body. But honestly, let's just call it what it is. The body's internal messaging system. That's it. It's just a constant stream of information telling us what's happening on the inside.
And what kind of messages are we talking about? Well, you've got the big ones, right? Hunger, thirst, the need to go to the bathroom. But it's also the more subtle stuff, like knowing you're too hot or too cold, feeling tired, or sensing a little ache or pain. And, this is a huge one, it also includes the actual physical feelings tied to our emotions, like that fluttery feeling of excitement or a racing heart when we're anxious.
Okay, now for the part that is a real game changer. Let's connect these internal feelings to the external behaviors we see every single day. For so many of us, this is where the light bulb really goes on. Here it is. This is so important. Many of the challenges we see are not behavioral choices. They are regulatory mismatches. All that means is that the behavior we see on the outside is happening because of a communication breakdown on the inside. This is where we get to completely reframe things. So what we might see as hyperactivity could actually be a child's body screaming, "I'm exhausted." What we might think is defiance about using the toilet could be that they literally do not feel the signal until it's a 5-alarm fire. That so-called picky eating, it might be a real difficulty even sensing what hunger feels like. And that sudden burst of anger, well, that could just be the physical feeling of anxiety that your child doesn't have a word for yet.
I really need this to land. Your child isn't trying to be difficult. They are not ignoring the signals. It's more like the message is coming through all fuzzy and static, or maybe the message gets delivered, but they haven't learned how to read it yet. It's a skill, and just like learning to walk or talk, every single kid develops this internal sense at their very own pace.
So if it's a skill, that's actually great news because it means we can help teach it. So how do we do that? Let's get into the good stuff. A practical, simple toolkit you can start using today to help build your child's body awareness.
Okay, here's a super simple activity you can do together, right now even. Just sit down comfortably, rest your hands on your legs. Now stretch your fingers out as wide as they can go. Make your hands feel really tight and tense. Hold it for a bit, and now just let them go. Let them relax completely. And here's the most important part. Just take a second and notice. What's the difference?
See what we just did there? We created a really clear, obvious contrast between two different feelings in the body, tense and relaxed. The goal isn't to say one is good and one is bad, not at all. We're just helping our child notice that they feel different. That's it. That's the first step. That's the whole foundation right there. And as you're doing little activities like this, you can start to give them a new vocabulary. We're talking about descriptive, totally non-judgmental words. So instead of good or bad, we can use words like tight, loose, floppy, or buzzy, still. You are literally helping them build a dictionary for their inner world. You can do this with anything.
Notice a fast heart after running around versus a slow heart during story time, an empty tummy before a snack, and a full one after.
So now, let's talk about how to bring this into real life. Once you have these tools and a few new words, you can start to weave this into your everyday chats. You get to become a gentle body signal detective with your child.
The absolute key here is curiosity. This is not a quiz. We're not testing them. We're just wondering out loud together. Using simple prompts like, what do you think your body is telling you right now? Or using those new words, does your body feel kind of tight or maybe a little wiggly? You can even just make a gentle guess, like, I wonder if that feeling is your body asking for a drink of water.
Okay, this brings us to a fundamental rule, a really foundational principle for all of this work. It's a short phrase, but it is incredibly powerful. Regulation precedes insight.
So what does that actually mean? It means a child has to feel safe and calm and regulated in their body before they can possibly understand what's going on inside it. We can't ask a child in the middle of a total meltdown to analyze their internal sensations. It's not going to work. Our first job, always, is to help them feel safe and regulated. The noticing, the learning, the connecting the dots, all of that comes later, in the quiet moments.
So if you take just one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Your role isn't to be a fixer, it's to be a supporter, to stay curious, to be a partner with your child as they slowly but surely learn the unique language of their very own body.
And that leads us to the final thought. This isn't about starting some huge, new, overwhelming program. It's about small, simple, consistent moments of connection. So, my question to you is, what's one small way you can start exploring body signals with your child this week? Maybe it's just trying that hand tensing activity, or maybe just one time, asking, I wonder what your tummy is telling you. Every little bit of curiosity helps build a lifetime of awareness. Thanks so much for joining me today.